Good morning, everyone. We are going to start today's session, so I request all of you to please take your seats. So, good morning to one and all present here. Before we start the session, I request all the respected dignitaries to occupy their seats, please. Ma'am, please. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome our chief guest and esteemed guests. I congratulate all for being the part of today's session. Yes. Our chief guest of the day, Mrs. Namita Gupta, had inspired Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Dr. Nilima Jarit, Director General, Science City, and Mr. Shubham Tandon, Project Officer, UNDP. He is our expert speaker for today. So, theme of the session is Science, Technology, and Innovation for Sustainable Living. The session is organized by Pushpa Gujral Science City on the 5th International Conference on Sustainability Education under the aegis of Mobius Foundation. We have our jury member, one of our jury member with us, Dr. C.R. Magesh. He is Scientist C, National Museum of Natural History, New Delhi. Welcome, sir. We are honored to have such distinguished personalities among us who have significantly contributed to their respective fields and continue to inspire countless individuals worldwide. Now I request Dr. Loveleen Barad, Scientist C, Pushpa Gujral Science City, to welcome our guests and to announce the results of poster presentation. Ma'am, please.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to today's session, Science, Technology, and Innovation for Sustainable Living. First and foremost, I would like to extend a warm welcome to our chief guest, Mrs. Namita Gupta, who graciously accepted our invitation to be with us today. Mrs. Gupta is heading Innovation in Science Pursuit for Inspired Research, that is INSPIRE scheme, one of the flagship programs of Department of Science and Technology, DST, GOI. We are honored to have you among us, ma'am. Her words of wisdom and encouragement will undoubtedly motivate our audience. I also acknowledge the presence of our expert, Mr. Shubham Tandon, Project Officer, UNDP. Sir, I welcome you to today's session, and we look forward to hear your valuable insights. I warmly welcome our jury member, Dr. C.R. Magesh and Ms. Soumya Sharma. I extend heartiest welcome to DG Science City for gracing this occasion. Dr. Jairath has set milestones in the field of environment and sustainable education, and she will enlighten us with her talk on SDGs. I warmly welcome all the teachers and students from different schools of Punjab, Haryana, and Delhi who are here today. I would also like to brief here about the journey which we started 2 months ago when Pushpa Gujral Science City announced call for innovative projects on 3 SDGs, that is SDG 6, SDG 7, and SDG 13. I'm so glad to share with you all that we received more than 250 projects, and we went through different rounds of screenings, and finally we are here with 30 shortlisted projects, and you are here in the poster presentation. And finally, we have selected 5 best projects, which was not an easy task as all were truly outstanding. So let's meet our winners. I'll start from appreciations. We have 2 appreciations. Gauri Batra from KV SPG Dwarka. Her project was Intelligent Dustbin. Second appreciation goes to Vidit Aswani and Arav Tanwar from Springdale's Public School. The title of the project is Solution to Pollution. And the third prize goes to Gushan Singh and Shubham Arora, Oxford Public School, Bathinda. The project is Carbon Dioxide Observer. The second prize goes to Amit Kumar and Dipanshu Sehrawat, Army Public School. Aero Radiant project. And the first prize goes to Harmandeep Kaur, GSSS Jabowal. The project is cost-effective biocooker. I would like to congratulate all winners of this competition and would like to thank all the participants, students, and their mentors who have participated. Last but not least, for you who haven't got the chance to be the winner this time, we truly appreciate your hard work and effort in this event. Congratulations to you all. Now I hand over the dice to my colleague Kamaljeet.
So now, without further ado, let us begin this session. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to invite our speaker, Dr. Nilima Jareth, to deliver the talk. Dr. Nilima Jareth is Director General, Science City. She's a state awardee for her work in science and environment. Prior to joining as DG Science City, she was Executive Director, Punjab State Council for Science and Technology, and Founder Member Secretary of State Biodiversity Board and State Innovation Council, and has been instrumental in establishing the Patent Information Center, Climate Change Knowledge Center, Anvis Center, and Regional Center for Education on Sustainable Development, Pushpa Gujral Science City. Pushpa Gujral Science City received the National Award for Science Communication in 2016 under her leadership. Over to you, ma'am.
A very good morning, everybody. Dr. Namita, Dr. Shubham. We are expecting Dr. Chand to be here soon, Dr. Chand Nas, Dr. Magesh, all the mentors, the teachers, and all students. Awards or no awards, let me just say that all of you are winners, because you are the ones who were the top 30 out of the more than 250 projects which we received. So that itself calls for a very big kudos. So, I was talking to one of the jury members, and he told me that it was a very, very tough competition. And it did take them a lot of effort to decide whom to formally give the award. But once again, I say that award or no award, all of you are winners. Thank you for coming here, and thank you for participating in this event. Since the topic of the conference is sustainability education, I would like to give you a very small brief of the same. How do I share the slides on the dais? Right? Okay. So, when we talk about sustainability, when we talk about sustainable development, we all, if there was a very interesting information on WhatsApp 3 days ago, which was generated by the World Economic Forum, which said that Google can now help you identify the total roof area to help you work out automatically how much would be your electricity bill, or how much would you save on your electricity bill in case you use solar power, and how much solar power can be generated by your house or by your complex through its rooftop. And what are the other places? Suppose you are living in a complex. What are the other places in the complex which could be used to generate solar power which could be supplied to the households, and thus the bills of people, the electricity bills of people could be reduced. And this solar power, if in a sufficient amount, could also be put back to the grid. So you are not only helping yourself, you are helping other surrounding areas also, especially some of the slums which are around us, so that the effort of the government to not charge power from them can be met through free power, which is generated in this way. Also, there was a news on artificial intelligence can be used to now work out what is the air pollution index of a particular area, and also what is the pollution index or the pollen index of an area. We all know that there are a number of people who get impacted, who are allergic to pollen. So how much pollen is in which season and in which area and of which plant? So that people who know that they are allergic could either stay indoors or could find out or could decide that not to go to that area in case they are allergic. So what do you think? Isn't this a very good way of using science for development, because this is development which is sustainable? We all know that we see a number of beautiful plants around us, a number of birds around us. Now, we would all want to see those birds around us. We don't want to lose them. But there is one bird, the great Indian bustard, which is a threatened bird species now, and only 150 of the birds are left which come to Rajasthan and Gujarat. Why? Because we have destroyed their habitat, and we have built cities or developed urban areas in their habitat. Now, do we want that development, or do we want development using science and technology where we can still be able to save the habitat of each and every species, and still for ourselves we are able to generate enough resources which help us lead a good and a happy life? So I'm going to tell you very briefly about sustainability and sustainable development goals. Now, sustainable development, as we all know, is the development which meets the needs of us, the present generation, without compromising the requirement and the ability of the future generation to meet its own needs. For example, if I have used a lot of water, what would happen to my children and my grandchildren? Would they get enough water? So that is the reason why sustainability, or where development which is sustainable, is being given so much importance. Now, the Sustainable Development Goals have actually been defined by the United Nations General Assembly, and these are considered to be operational from 2015 to 2030, a 15-year period, and 17 such goals have been identified. The best part of the goals is that these are monitorable. So a lot of indicators have come, and these goals are basically based on the 3 pillars of society, ecology, and economy. So when there is a balance between the 3, the development which happens is sustainable. So these are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. I know there are 17, so I am not going to discuss each and every one, but I'll just give you a brief idea. But one thing which we all need to remember all the time is that these goals are integrated, they are interconnected, and they are interdependent. So we can achieve only when there is a balance between them. And as I told you, there are 17 goals, but to monitor these, whether we are achieving anything or not, we have got 169 targets. And to monitor those targets, whether we are achieving those targets, we have 263 indicators. Now, every goal has a set of targets and a set of indicators. Every target has a set of indicators, and they are all physically monitorable. And besides this, countries have the option to choose additional indicators if they like based on their own requirements, and also identify priority indicators. Niti Aayog is working on this, and it comes up with a sustainability index every year. For India, we come up with state sustainability indices. At the international level, there are country sustainability indices also developed. So very, very briefly, the first goal is no poverty. Globally, it has been estimated that 64.7 crore people still live in extreme poverty. And if we look at it in India, every fourth person lives in poverty. And this is, COVID-19 has also been a contributory factor to this. And that is why this goal, which we were trying to achieve earlier, has been pulled down a little bit. Similarly, zero hunger. Again, I'm not going to go into the details of this, but globally, we say that in India also, we say that hunger is an issue, and about 80% infants do not get the requisite minimum diet, but globally, 1 in 9 people faces hunger. The people are undernourished. So this is one major objective of SDGs, to achieve zero hunger. Whether we will be able to do it by 2030 or not is still a very big question. But then, even if we do not reach the 100% target, even if we reach 80% target, it would be something to be applauded for. Good health and well-being is another sustainability goal, which calls for universal health coverage. Now, in India also, health coverage issues have started coming up. But globally, if we, especially in South Asian countries and in African countries, 50 lakh people die before their 5th birthday every year. So the situation is not only in India. In fact, India is now being propelled as a nation which is very soon getting itself recognized as a developed nation. So we will have to overcome these problems if we really want to be called as a developed nation. Quality education. This is very, very important for us. The target is 100% literacy. Indian literacy rate is presently 74%. So the target says the access needs to be provided to university level education, vocational training, and technical education to everyone. And in this, one major issue which has come out of this is that it is not only what you learn in the school, it is also what you learn out of the school. The non-formal means of education are also equally important. And if you look at it, the program which we did today, or the program which we have been doing since the past 2 months or so, that is a part of non-formal education. And I hope that through this, a lot of things which you did were not given in your books, but you worked, you researched, you did some work on it, you came up with some answers. So this is which helps to raise your curiosity. This is which helps you to think of innovative solutions. And I was told that at least 2 or 3 of the awards are based on the innovation potential in this, through this, the projects which you did. In fact, one of the jury members was telling me that he would like to take 1 or 2 projects further, and he would like to disseminate those projects in other schools also. And the project is actually the innovation, the brainchild of one student. Organizations like Pushpa Gujral Science City, organizations like the Science Center, the National Science Center at Delhi, these are also very good means of non-formal education, and I'm sure your schools take you to these science centers to visit, and I also welcome you to Pushpa Gujral Science City whenever you wish. Gender equality is another very important goal. Only yesterday, the Women Reservation Bill in the Parliament has been put up, and this is one more step towards gender equality. And if you look at it, from the times when we started studying, there were very few female students in a class. When I was in masters, we had only 4 girls in a class of 40. But now situation is very, very different. Clean water and sanitation, that was one of our topics also for this program, for the projects which you are doing. Some of you have done work on that. So basically, 2.6 billion people have gained access to water, fresh water now, as a result of several efforts. So one thing which we all need to remember always is that we need to avoid wasting water, because water is a scarce resource. As a child, I had never thought that I would ever drink from a bottle. And in fact, when water bottles were introduced, we used to say, ki kaun kharidega India mein pani? But now we all prefer to do that because we are not sure of the quality of water which we get at the tap. So achieving clean water and achieving 100% sanitation is another very important goal for which the country is working hard to achieve. From 15th to 2nd of October, we have started the Bharat Swachhata Abhiyan. And I think the Abhiyan has reached your schools also, and all of you are contributing towards it. So there are many ways to save water. There are many ways to improve sanitation, and we all need to look at that. Affordable and clean energy. Energy was also one of our topics in the whole system of things. So basically, a lot of people still do not get modern electricity, but we need to improve it further. India, fortunately, has 84.5% people have access to electricity, a lot of which comes from renewable resources, and that is another step towards sustainability. Energy saved is also very important, and that is why when your schools tell you to switch off the lights and fans when you leave the class is very, very important. There are many, many little things which all of us can do individually for this. Similarly, decent work and economic growth. This is also another sustainable development goal, and this requires conditions which allow people to have quality jobs. And a lot of effort, Skill India, Startup India, all these are leading towards, we are working towards achieving this goal. Industry, innovation and infrastructure, again, the targets include fostering innovation. There is a lot of emphasis in India on innovation, on intellectual property rights, how to protect yourself, adopting innovative ways to repurpose old materials, reducing waste, reusing things, and recycling waste. So all this, and this has also started. The situation which was 10 years ago or 5 years ago is, from now, is different. reducing inequalities, which basically focuses on the underprivileged, supporting underprivileged, reducing class and gender distinctions, and raising voice against inequality is the major targets for achieving these goals. And then sustainable cities and communities, there is a very good program which has been started throughout the country for developing sustainable cities, which is Smart City program. Another a very important program is called the Hriday program, which is which has special focus on cities which have some specific cultures, cities which are culturally important. So the temple cities, etc. There are 14 such cities have already been identified. More are being identified for, and all this is another step towards achieving this goal. Responsible consumption and production, again, reducing food wastage, educating people on their lifestyle choices. What would be a sustainable lifestyle? And for this, the government has started the Life Mission or Mission Life, which I'm sure your school would also be doing something about that. A lot of work is being done all over. And if you look at it, that amount of consumption which we are doing, if we do not cut down our consumption, we would need 2 Earths to sustain what is happening. But if we consume like we consume in some of the Western countries, we might need 5 more Earths to support the population which we have, if we continue business as usual. So that is something which needs to be looked at, and we all, and you all, especially as students, as youngsters, need to be aware of this. Then climate change was one of our major topics. We all know that we have seen all the disaster which has happened in these last 1 or 2 months. We have seen rivers in spate. I mean, it was very, very surprising that in Uttar Pradesh, some of the districts were being surveyed for drought, whereas there were other districts which were being surveyed for loss due to excessive rain. So the same state, but 2 different, totally opposite scenarios were happening. So climate change is an important issue, a very important issue for everybody in the world. And we all know in your classes, you would have read about greenhouse gases. We always, when we talk about climate change, we always link it to CO2 equivalent. So it's not only CO2 which is the culprit. There are many other gases. For example, methane has a global warming potential which is 21 times of CO2, which means 1 molecule of methane is equal to will cause the same damage which 21 molecules of 1 molecule of methane will have the same damage which 21 molecules of CO2 would generate. Similarly, HCFCs, etc., which we use in our refrigerators. So alternates have come up through science and technology, and these alternates need to be adopted. If we look at climate action, the GHG emissions, if you look at the 2 graphs here, you would see that the total GHG emissions, if we look at them, India is at number 3. But if you look at the per capita GHG emissions, India is at number 7 or 8, because our total GHG emissions are higher because of our high population. So even though individually we are contributing small amounts, if we look at it in totality, we are actually producing more GHG emissions. So these are certain nuances which we all need to understand and which we all need to appreciate, and we all need to work towards it. So even we cannot be complacent by saying that we are producing very little GHG individually, but we are more number of people. So we still have to reduce our GHG emissions if we need to achieve the climate action targets. So which literally means that we need to cut down the production of CO2 and therefore the impact which it has on temperature. Because of shortage of time, I will not go into everything. So similarly, life below water is the 14th Sustainable Development Goal. And we all know, we have all read news about world's oceans and rivers being overfished, and they are underprotected and stressed from climate change and pollution. So that has to be reduced. We all know about plastic pollution, which is happening in the seas. I have myself seen large amounts of plastic, which is being fished out from the seabed just to save a particular section of the sea. And this is especially along the Sindhu-Durg, the western coast of India. Then life on land, once again, our soils are degraded. Our forest land, we need to increase the forest cover. And the target is to halt the threat to the ecosystems and to halt the threat to biodiversity. Now, biological diversity, as we know, is the higher the biodiversity index of an area, better is the ecosystem. But we are losing our biodiversity and we need to take action. And this particular target identifies various actions which can be taken to halt biodiversity loss. Then target 16 is on peace, justice, and strong institutions. And these are very important because, as said earlier, everything is interlinked. If there is less water, there would be more violence, right? It is said that many countries, the next wars could be fought on water. So so therefore this becomes important. Where similarly, partnerships and goals, developing partnerships with other institutions, other countries is also equally important. UNDP is doing quite a lot of work in this direction. So we have an expert from UNDP who will speak to you on these issues. And Mission Life is one program which has been started by the country to help address the sustainable development issues, to involve people. Because when we talk about sustainable development, we also talk about peoples and partnerships. So to involve everybody, the Mission Life gives very simple examples, very simple things which we can do as individuals and which will impact all the sustainable development goals, all the 17 goals. Now, to address this, just as an example, I would like to tell you that Pushpa Gujral Science City has started a special program called SD Ask, which is Sustainable Development Attitudes, Skills, and Knowledge. And we have been focusing on 8 SDGs at the moment. We have set up SDG clubs in many schools. The participation is 100% voluntary. Every 15 days, we do an activity with those schools. Sometimes the activity is online, sometimes it is on-site. Sometimes the activity is within the school only. You don't even have to go anywhere, but you send your reports or we monitor your reports. Our people go and monitor what you are doing. And every month, we give a new target. And we ask students to work on that. We ask teachers to work on that. Thanks to all the teachers who have been helping us in operating this program since the past 1.5 years. And this is something which is very easily replicable. So if schools in other states also want to do, you can just adopt it. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much. Uh, and I hope that we will all be able to take up these programs, and we all would be able to contribute towards development which is sustainable. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your insightful presentation. And as we move forward, it's time to invite our next speaker, Mr. Shubham Tandon, to deliver the talk. Mr. Tandon is an enthusiastic development professional with more than a decade of working in the environment sector, engaged in project management activities related to building rural and urban resilience, environment protection through disaster risk reduction, and climate change adaptations, sustainable development, and enhancing institutional capacities of the government and the local community as well. He has successfully coordinated joint programs with the central ministries like the Ministry of Home Affairs, Urban Affairs, and Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Additionally, he also has worked closely with multilateral and bilateral organizations and has been working with UNDP since 2016, managing the disaster risk management related projects with the environment team. Over to you, sir. So please.
Good afternoon, guys. Uh, First of all, thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you, Dr. Gerard, for this brilliant presentation, briefing all the SDGs for the students. I would want this presentation to be a bit more interactive. Feel free to question me whenever you want to. Feel free to ask whatever you want to. And feel free to tell me that the presentation is boring, we need to talk about something else. There's no problem about it. Let's be very interactive. It's a 30-minute session, 20-minute session. Let's try to engage as much as possible, because the presentation is general. I've tried to put inputs addressing student concerns in general, but this is what it is, and feel free to question. Can I have the presentation on board? So I'll start with a quick story, and this is me. I'm Shubham Tandon. My email ID is right there. Feel free to drop in an email whenever you want. And Dr. Gerard, I would also want all the 5 participants, the final students who have won. If after the presentation we can have a quick small interaction with all the 5 people, I'll be more than happy to have that one. I'll start with this very small story of this girl, a young girl who's there on the presentation. We were implementing a climate change modeling program in the state of Jharkhand. And now the thing is, what we do, we were providing solar panels, we were providing solar lanterns to various villages, and we were also training female and women of these villages on how to make solar panels and PV modules and solar lanterns. But as a UN organization or as any organization, we also want results around it, right? So once we have done and completed the project, we go on ground, we talk to the community, we take their pictures, we make their videos. So there was this girl, we were taking pictures of all these community members, and there was this girl standing right beside me, and he said, "Why are you clicking pictures of these people?" And I said, "These are the beneficiaries and they have won something, they have been doing this." And then he said, "To meri bhi khicho na." And we said, "Okay, why not?" And then we clicked the picture, and the picture came out so well that now this picture is a part of Inspiring India magazine, which was launched by Bhumi Pitnekar last month. It is a part of the UN Global Compact mission, which was done. So what I mean to talk about is, she's a 14-year-old girl, but she has the audacity to come across and be confident enough about saying that click my picture. So we are in the midterm of SDGs right now. SDGs are till 2030. We are already in 2023. 7.5 years have gone by. We have achieved only 20% of the SDGs. So eventually, by the end of the day, we'll be looking towards you, the youth, to work upon it and take the ranking of ours to a bigger and a better marking. Could anybody guess which is the country who is performing the best right now in SDGs? Any number, any name which comes to your mind? Nope. Yeah. Any specific country? It's Finland. So Finland is topping the SDGs right now. And can you also guess where is India right now on SDGs? We are talking about in front of 192 countries. Where are we standing on SDG implementation in the country? So we are at 112. So there's a lot of work which is to be done. And we are hoping with the amount of push we are having from the government now, the ranking will not increase gradually, but exponentially. We'll not be 112, 111, and 10, but with every year passing, we'll be jumping 10, 20 places in the times to come. So quickly moving forward, what is climate change? And I will now not go in details of presentation because Dr. Gerard has given a very detailed presentation. So feel free to question, but this is what I'm going to talk about. Because you all are students, can somebody tell me what is the difference between climate variability and climate change? Have you heard about it? Anyone? Or what do you think climate change is? Anyone? Any participants? Any winners of the competition? Globalization. Okay. In what ways? Yeah. Brilliant. So climate variability is short term, climate change is long term. Most of the times what happens is we start talking about climate change thinking पिछले साल तो बारिश हुआ था इस साल नहीं हुआ, right? Climate change हो गया. Anything beyond 80 years comes under the definition of climate change. Anything less than that comes under definition of climate variability. Just remember this throughout. Climate change is the long-term increase in Earth's average surface temperature, which is caused by various reasons. Right now, we are fighting, as ma'am said, we are having drought at one state. At the very same time, we are having floods. I manage the disaster management program for the government of India. I work with NDMA, and we have a lot of activities which we are working around 14 specific hazards to be specific in the country. India is a country that out of the UN listed hazards, specifically disasters, out of the 35 hazards, we sort of face 34 hazards which are probably there in the world right now. So we are a very vulnerable country in terms of hazards. Now, what are the causes of climate change? We have seen this, that we have greenhouse emissions, deforestation, land use pattern is changing. Lands, we are urbanizing a lot of area. We are utilizing the resources available in the maximum potential and in whatever ways possible. The difference between needs and wants are now not being sort of looked into before getting into a development practice per se. Amidst all this issue of climate change, cause and degradation, do you have any idea, a good news just for you? You might have heard about ozone hole. There is a hole in ozone layer. So the ozone hole is healing itself and healing itself very fast. When we say the ozone was in the worst shape in 1979, if you see when you compare the ozone layer since 1913 to 2022, it was worst in 1979. That is why there was a lot of push. But as of 2022, we have reduced the hole size by almost 30%. So it's a good job which everybody and the world around is working around it. Now, what are the impacts of climate change? Changes in climates, there's an increase in temperature, extreme weathers and disasters. And because we are talking about disasters, UNDRR, United Nations Disaster the Risk and Reduction Office, they have declared that there is no natural disaster anymore. The natural disasters don't exist. Every disaster is a human-made disaster. They have categorically mentioned that there are no natural disaster. Anything which... That's what we are saying. These are hazards. So there is a difference between hazard and disasters. So a volcano is a hazard because it's a natural phenomena which has occurred. Once it impacts the community, then it becomes a disaster. So till the time volcano is coming out and everybody is safe, it is just a hazard. And this is there for every disaster. If there is a cyclone, if there is a tsunami deep down the ocean and has not impacted anyone, it's just a hazard. Once it impacts people, you and me and everybody else sitting around here, it becomes a disaster. So now the UNDRR says that there are no natural disasters. Every disaster is human-made. There are floods coming in because you are utilizing the floodplain of the rivers, right? This is one of the reasons why people have been talking about. And we have scientists from MOFCC as well. They'll also be talking about it. And feel free to reach out to him as well because he knows the subject in and out about it. Now, effects of climate change, we have extreme heat, we have air pollution. We are sitting in Delhi right now, it's already September. Everybody knows what is going to happen 2 months down the line. There will be pollution, the air will be bad, the quality in general will be not up to the mark. But the agencies now are starting to work around it. as ma'am said, that there is an AI technique to sort of measure AQIs. We are also working with Government of India on managing air pollution in general. And the idea is to reduce air pollution levels within the next 5 years into the entire NCR region. And there's something called airshed. Have people heard about watershed? Rainwater harvesting, watershed. Have you ever heard about it? Now, in the same way, we will be talking about airshed, because cities can't solve their air pollution problem. If it happens, say, Delhi resolves their air pollution problem, that can't be done. It can only happen when the entire airshed, Noida, Haryana, Punjab, Delhi, they entirely come together and work on transboundary issues of the air pollution related problems. Then only we can find a solution, when everybody and all stakeholders come together. Now, I'll talk about a few global climate agreement. What has our governments been doing around it in general? In '97, we had a Kyoto Protocol. This was this one initial discussion which happened in Japan, in the city of Kyoto, where 192 countries came together and said that let's work towards greenhouse emission. Let's try to do something out of it. So initial discussion started. And in 2015, we had 196 countries in the UNFCCC, United Nations Framework for Climate and Convention conference, adapting to the Paris Agreement. It's not a legal binding agreement for everybody's knowledge, but 196 countries agreed to sort of make sure that they'll be working towards achieving Paris Agreement. I'll be talking about this a bit more. We already have SDGs. I'm not going into SDGs. I have already told where we stand, what we are trying to do, and these 17 SDGs will be the target of what, as a world, we are trying to achieve as a global community in the next 7 to 8 years. Okay, now, can anybody, in general, not about the slides which are mentioned, do you have any idea what is adaptation or what is mitigation? Have you heard these terms in the past? Anyone? Feel free. There are no wrong answers. That's why I've come in a very open mind here. Feel free to talk whatever you want to. Yeah, please go ahead.
Accommodate according to the situation.
Yeah.
So whereas mitigation is when we try to eradicate that problem from its root cause.
Brilliant. So see, my presentation is not required. You guys know everything. And that is what is expected from you. Mitigation, as the girl said, it's about stopping the problem at its source. It's about reducing the things that, say, for example, is making our earth more warmer. Use clean energy, plant more trees, have energy efficient ideas in general to implement with. And adaptation is getting ready. See, we know that disasters will happen. The idea is to be prepared for disasters. And in what ways do we have structural measures in place so that the houses built are more earthquake safe and things like that. Now, because we are talking about disasters, this is a very interesting thing. And this is called Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction. This was also appointed right in the same year of Paris Agreement in 2015. Now, this is a 15-year binding document where all the countries came together to sort of say that we are going to address the points which are mentioned in SFDRR, which talks about let's understand disaster risks, let's strengthen the disaster risk governance, invest in disaster reduction, and enhance the preparedness to build back better. Now, India became one of the first countries to implement it immediately. It was released in the November of 2015, and by the July of 2016 itself, the SFDRR was a part of our National Disaster Management Plan. No, there are almost 60% countries who have not even updated their disaster management plans right now, but India is right there on the top working towards achieving SFDRR targets. And when we talk about disaster management, the government of India has worked brilliantly well when we talk about response. When you think about sort of developed nations working towards disaster management, you think about US, Japan, achieving a lot work in general. But the response capacities of government of India right now is at par with any other developed nation in the world. We have the capacity to sort of evacuate 3 million people in 24 hours. Nobody in the world has the capacity to do that right now. So we have enhanced the response mechanism of the country brilliantly. We are yet to do a lot of things around mitigation and adaptation, but we are working towards the right path. Now, what are the UN systems? This is just a general knowledge trivia. What UN systems are doing around climate actions and disaster management. We have one, the Office of Disaster Risk Reduction, which is basically the custodian of disaster management and resilience related activities. And they work towards globally managing and emphasizing preparedness at the international level. We have UNFCCC, which is a framework for global cooperation on climate change and notably around Paris Agreement. Then we have IPCC. It is an intergovernment panel which offers vital climate predictions. So basically, every country have their IPCC panel as well. There are scientists from MOFCC and various other government bodies which are impaneled by the government of India to report to IPCC in general, and we tell every year that this is what we have achieved against the set task, right? And then we have the SDGs, and UNDP in general is working around all 7 SDGs in the country. Now, call to action. This is, you already know, you have already talked in your projects and what you have submitted. We have renewable sources of energy, we have solar, we have wind, we have biomass, we have hydro, we have geothermal. And this is the push where we are working towards. The Government of India wants that by 2030, 500 gigawatts of renewable energy should be our targets. And we will be achieving it. We will comfortably be achieving it before 2030 actually. We are already at 190 gigawatts. In the next 3 to 4 years, I guess we will be achieving the 500 gigawatts target comfortably. So what we are going to target now, we need to embrace clean energy. Clean energy, we have mentioned transition to renewable sources. Has anybody heard the term called just transition? Anyone? What do you think just transition could be? What is the meaning of transition? Change. What is the meaning of just? Another better version of just. Right now is one, but just can be equitable, trustworthy for everyone. So just transition is when you are transitioning from one space to another. Say the target is to move from coal to solar, right? Now the transition should happen well. What do I mean about this? There are a lot of coal mines workers which are working in the coal mines, right? If you say this coal mine will be closed tomorrow, you need to make sure that the 1,000 workers working in the coal mine move to a better livelihood. So before closing the coal mine, you need to make sure that their transition is happening in a just way. That is called just transition. Now we need to adapt to changes in general. We need to build resilient cities, smart cities. A very interesting example, go to your houses whenever you are free, type smart city quota in general. One very specific example which has come from the country right now is traffic management is a major issue. Air pollution is being caused about it. Kota has removed all the traffic lights in the city last month. There is not even a single traffic light in Kota right now under the smart city project. And they have made underpasses, joint passes, and even the cross-sectional areas have been modified. So the cars are always moving now. And we were a part of the smart city campaign in general, and we have replicated this study from Germany. But feel free to read and understand how, and we are also, because this is just started 1 month back, we will also assess 6 months down the line what the result is. But personally, it's a very interesting thing because there are no traffic lights, there are no red lights, no cars will be stopping until and unless somebody drives on the wrong way. Yeah, that is what a lot of people do, but let's just trying to build upon the behavioral change within the system. There is something called a climate box. Again, feel free to reach out and Google climate box. It's a UNDP climate dictionary / climate box for students specifically. How you can work around conserving, combating, and cooperating to work towards climate change. This is just one example of what and how we can do it. But it's a small dictionary. It's majorly made for students from class 8 to class 12. Feel free to read it. It will be very interesting, interactive. You will have games out there, online games to sort of learn about climate change. It will be very interesting to sort of learn overall. Everybody knows this. Avoid plastic items, reduce your food waste, grow a sustainable lifestyle, buy a product with less packaging in general. So a lot of reduction overall. Now, what are India's climate commitments? Now, Government of India has been working very categorically around climate change specifically. To start with, we have NAPCC. We have a National Action Plan on Climate Change where the government is telling the states to work around climate change specifically. Then we have a SAP-CC. Every state has also developed their action plan on climate change. And similarly, we have a national disaster management plan, we have state disaster management plans, we have district disaster management plans, and we have village disaster management plans as well. So a lot of planning has already been done in the process. We have a NAFCC, which is called a National Adaptation Fund, where the vulnerable states are being provided funding specifically to combat climate change. Okay, specifically to the students, do you know what a finance commission is? Or what a 5-year plan is? You must have read in your history and civics books. What a 5-year plan of Government of India is? Yes.
Money to be spent in next 5 years.
In the next 5 years. Good. Brilliant students. So, how much time do I have? Excuse me, the panel. Yeah. Oh, a lot of time. Good. So, in general, what has the Government of India, and I'm sorry, in general, I'm talking about a more of trivial question because we are addressing students so that they take something home. So, what happens generally in the country, we spend money based on the expenditure we have done in the previous year. So, say for example, the young man in blue, what's your name? What's your name? Pardon? Samarth. Say for example, Samarth has spent 300 crores last year on managing disasters. Okay? So now this year when Samarth goes to Government of India and says that I want money to manage disasters, Government of India will check the exchequer on the expenditure and will give 300 crores again to Samarth to manage his states in a good way, right? Now, this methodology earlier is a bit flawed because, say for example, what's your name? Amisha. Amisha spent 50 crore rupees last year on disaster management, and this year there is a huge flood. So instead of 50 crores, you require 500 crores to sort of manage your population in the state, right? So now what the Government of India has done, instead of just giving money based on expenditure, we now have 4 windows under which the funding will be given to all the state governments. The 4 windows will be in mitigation, adaptation, response, and reconstruction and rehabilitation. Now every state need to submit a proposal, tell that I require 500 crores specifically for flood management in my state, and then the Government of India will give you 500 crores. So the response money, which every year say Samarth take out of 300 crores, 200 crores goes to response. We will definitely be giving the response money for him. That 200 crore will go to Samarth, but that 100 crore, for that, Samarth needs to give me a DPR, a detailed project report, telling that I will be doing, say, an integrated flood management system for the state, and for that I require 100 crores. So a very interesting subject, a very interesting sort of overall idea where now the states will be working more specifically to get more funds to specifically work on climate actions and disaster management. We have international initiatives as well. There is something called International Solar Alliance, where the Government of India is the custodian of. A lot of work is being doing. Almost 40 countries have already participated in it, and we are working towards sort of managing the overall solar capacities of these 40 countries. There is something called CDRI, Coalition of Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. This was again the scheme of Honorable Prime Minister of the country, where now around 32 countries are a part of the entire CDRI mission, where all these 32 countries will be working towards enhancing the infrastructure resilience of their specific countries. So we will be evaluating the public buildings, the private buildings, how strengthened are they to sort of resist to an earthquake for that matter, right? What is India's commitment? I've talked about NDMA. There is a National Disaster Management Authority at the central level, which manages the overall work. And then we have state disaster management authorities and the district disaster management authority overall managing the entire work. We have coastal zone managements, again, a part of one of the sustainable development goals where the coastal life is to be addressed. And then a lot of targets are being worked around the Paris Agreement as well. This is what we are doing, and this is just to give you an idea that what kind of projects already exist, because you already had a very interesting seminar where you already presented a lot of posters. So what kind of projects are already existing globally or in the country where we are working towards climate change? There is something called Green Environment Facility, where we are working on around 17 states on conserving biodiversity, on sustainable land management specifically. There is a Green Climate Fund project where we are working on climate resilient infrastructure specifically, making hospital safety plans, making school disaster management plans. Last year, I made around 500 school disaster management plans for 5 states in the country. So all schools, we used to go to the schools, train the students on what to do during an earthquake. We used to organize mock drills in schools for that. Does your schools have mock drills? You have mock drills in general? Every school is having mock drills right now? Oh, very nice, fantastic. We have something called integrated coastal zone management where we are working with various governments on how to manage their coastal. So there is a big program called National Coastal Risk Mitigation Program where we are working specifically in the coastal zones to address the cyclone problem specifically. Now, on disaster management, we work with various state governments to sort of support them on their disaster systems, disaster risk management systems, right from hospital safety, school safety, making up of plans, early warning systems, drone tech. This might be something which might sound very fancy to students. We use a lot of drone tech to assess the areas, climate modeling, projected modeling. All these are very scientific and technological oriented subjects. Feel free to read about it. You can go to UNDP's knowledge management portal. A lot of things are free specifically for students. Learn what is climate modeling, how it is done, in what ways it is being done. And any student who is in the class 10th or beyond can comfortably learn what is it all about. It will be very interesting exercise for you guys as well. We have a circular economy activity we are doing to phase out HCFC as one of the Government of India's technical support partners. And then we have a climate dictionary and climate box. Feel free to read about it. Now, this is pretty much it from my end. Feel free to question if you have any questions, any queries. I'm right here. And before I sit, I'll be more than happy to address a few questions if you have any. Great. This is it from my end. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir, for this enlightening presentation. And so moving further, it's now time to listen to the valuable views of our honorable chief guest. May I request our chief guest to address the audience, please, ma'am?
Very good afternoon. Once again, congratulations to all the students who have participated in the competition. At least came out, made efforts to understand innovation, to do the projects. Winning is just one part, as Dr. Nilima said. Winners or no winners, effort is very important. Once you make an effort, your learning increases 10-fold, 100-fold, 1,000-folds. And you are the youth of the country. So country is looking at you for many, many aspects, as Shubham was telling in his presentation. So much work is to be done in the sustainable development goals. And handholding from the government of India is there, but the effort has to come from the society, from the students, from the public, from each and every corner of the country. The collective effort can lead us to the destination which we want to reach. So I am from Department of Science and Technology, Ministry of Science and Technology. So we are conducting some very good flagship programs which are for addressing the youth of the country to expand our research and development base. Madam was telling in her presentation quality education. Quality education is important, but at the same time, quality education is very important, and it is one of our sustainable development goals. Government had understood this thing very long back and tried its best to address it right from the very beginning, from the school level till the PhD level or even at the postdoc level. We all at the global level face the pandemic, COVID-19. But India could come out with the vaccine very soon. The reason was that the research and development base of the country was very strong. We were doing very good in the fundamental research. We had a BS4 laboratory already existing to do the research on the virus, which was prevalent at that time during that pandemic time. National Institute of Virology, you all must have heard. It is a BS4 laboratory. So the fundamental research is important for the country, and the country is looking to the youth of the country like you to come forward to study science, to work in these areas, to do innovations and resolve the issues of society, for the public, for yourself, for the universe. So I'll tell you a little bit. Have you heard, anybody of you heard about the Inspire Manak program? The call is presently on under the Inspire Manak. Inspire Manak is a program where we invite the innovative projects from the school students. And these innovative projects are from all across the pan India. It is a pan India program. From 6th to 10th class students are eligible to participate. The principals of the schools nominate 2 to 5 projects on our portal, which is Inspire Manak portal. And these projects are taken to the district level competitions, to the state level competitions, followed by the national level competitions. And the winners are declared at the national level competitions. So I give you one and this is a pan-India program, and it is very important as to not only the urban students, a lot of rural students, small girls have started participating in this. So innovation, because it is to nurture the culture of innovation in the students. Students and the small children, they are very innovative. They are very curious to learn about the new things. Once we were having a meeting with the small students to understand whether they know anything about the innovation or not, or innovation is just a buzzword, or they don't understand what is the innovation. So one small girl from a rural area sitting at the back, when we just asked the question, what is innovation? So do you see any problem outside in your school, outside your premises, and which your seniors have not been able to handle it or suggest some solution, or they are handling it in a very traditional way? So she raised her hand. So we asked her. She said, ki in my school, madam, I am very short in height, and in my school, all the school taps which are there, they are in a straight line. And I am not able to drink water from that. So we asked, what solution do you suggest for this? She said, if that pipeline, if it is made like taper, height this level, height this level, and height this level, one tap at this level, one tap at this level, one single pipeline is coming, but only the tap is there. So the students who are shorter in height, they will be very easily take the water from there. And I tell you, so at that meeting, one of our honorable President of India was present. He is shorter in height. He was shorter in height. He remarked on that, कि I faced this problem throughout my school life. So this is the type of innovation which the children can think of. He said that this idea never came to my mind when I was in school. So the innovation is very important, and a lot of things can be done, and lot of issues of the society, of the problems can be resolved. And that's why the program tries to address and award the innovators of our country. So this is under the Inspire Manak program, and the call is presently on. So those who are interested, they should come forward, think of it, make some very good projects. Like today you have made so many efforts and have come up with very good innovative ideas and done very good work. Next is under our Inspire, we are doing the hand-holding, as I told about the research and development base of our country. Apart from this, we are doing the programs, we are providing scholarships and fellowships for the students who take up science as a main subject, basic and natural sciences subjects at their undergraduate level. followed by the postgraduate level and the PhD level and at the postdoc levels. So for the undergraduate levels, we have a program, Scholarship for Higher Education. If you visit our website, that is a online-inspire.gov.in, many of you are in the 11th class or 12th class. Many of you must have taken the science as a stream. How many of you have taken science stream? Many of you have taken. So if you choose to do your UG, your undergraduation in the basic and the natural sciences subjects, so we provide the scholarships. And this scholarship, for providing this scholarship, no entrance exam is conducted. This is based on your state or the Central Educational Board results. So top 1% of the state and Central Educational Board results, the top 1% students who opt for the courses at the UG level for the basic and natural sciences, they are eligible, they apply and they get the scholarships. For 5 years, this is for the BSc and the MSc courses. Then we have a PhD program also, and then we have a postdoc program also. So under the Inspire program, we are trying to handhold, Government of India is trying to handhold a student from the class 6th up to the age of 32 years. And the idea is to build a very good research and development base to create good scientists for the country, good scientific manpower for the country, and good technologists for the country. This is one of the sustainable development goal, quality education. And handholding from the government in the form of providing scholarships, fellowships, and faculty fellowships is one of the indicator is that the government is very, very proactive in taking care of and promoting research in the country. So I would like to request you, all of you, to visit the websites for the Department of Science and Technology, for Ministry of Science and Technology, as well as the Inspire program. You will get a lot of idea regarding what are the flagship programs being conducted. Because this is the age where your horizon is opening, your career has to start after your school. And you have plethora of options available with you. So all the available options which are available to you, you can explore, you can find out what interests you, what is good for you, what is the best for you. I once again congratulate all the award winners and for coming forward and take part in the various schemes which are being conducted, the various competitions which are being conducted for helping and for the growth of the youth of the country. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your words of wisdom. So now the two of our winners, the first prize winner and second prize winner, may I request them to come on the dais one by one to deliver a presentation of say around 3 minutes. Come please. Yeah. She is Harmandeep Kaur from Government Senior Secondary School, Jabbowal, Amritsar, Punjab.
The title of our project is Designing a Cost-Effective Biocooker and Production of Biofuel Using Parthenium hysterophorus, Dried Leaves, Waste Paper and Sawdust. First of all, the introduction. What is biofuel? Biofuel is any fuel that is derived from biomass, that is plant or animal waste. Biofuel is regarded as a renewable source of energy, unlike fossil fuels like petroleum, coal and natural gas. There is a type of biofuel that is solid biofuel. That is a project that is derived from solid biomass by generally physical transformation such as drying, grinding and densification them as briquettes and plates. Then there is a plant weed that is very aggressive and harmful for all of us, that is Parthenium hysterophorus. We can also call it as Congress grass, which is not having any economic importance. It is also known as starweed. The next introduction are about waste paper. We collect the waste paper for our project from a class of our campus. Then the water that runs waste from RO filters has been collected for our research work. Then raw materials used in our project is Parthenium hysterophorus, dried leaves, waste paper, sawdust and water that runs waste from the RO filters. After that, our objectives is production of a new solid biofuel. Then the eradication of harmful Parthenium weed. To eradicate it, we made this project because it is very difficult to eradicate them. Recycling waste paper, dried leaves and sawdust. And next is to decrease the level of pollution and lesser health hazards. The last one is to generate employment opportunities if done at a large scale. Now the methodology of the project is collection of raw materials. We collect the raw materials like Parthenium plants, dried leaves, waste paper and sawdust and wastewater also. After that drying of raw materials, we did it in the sunlight. After that shredding and soaking of waste paper. For this we took 150 grams of waste paper and put all of them in the 4-liter wastewater. Then the crushing of dried leaves and Parthenium plant. We did it manually. We put gloves on our hands and did it with our hands. Then the mixing of all the raw materials. We took 150 grams of Parthenium weed, dried leaves and sawdust and put all of them in the soaked papers. Then we checked its binding ability. It was okay to make briquettes. Then we made preparation of a mold and then the biofuel briquettes. After that we dry the biofuel briquettes in the sunlight for 48 hours and our biofuel briquettes is ready. These are the biofuel briquettes we have made. Now what is calorific value? It is a standard measure of energy content of a fuel. It is defined as the amount of heat released when a unit of fuel is completely burned. Heat produced by burning 1 gram of any fuel is called as calorific value. We use the bomb calorimeter to measure the calorific value. A thick-walled steel container used to determine the energy contained in a substance by measuring the heat generated during its combustion. When we take 1 gram of any fuel and burn it in that thick-walled steel container, it gives us its calorific value. It's called bomb calorimeter. Then the observation is the calorific value of our biofuel briquettes has been found to be 36 calorie per gram and 18 megajoule per kg. Then the lesser smoke emission compared to cow dung cakes while burning. We observe it physically. It produced less smoke than the cow dung cakes. Here is the graphical representation of the biofuel. Our biofuel has 3600 calorie per gram. The weight of ash left after burning is less than the cow dung also. So in this respect also, our biofuel is better than the cow dung cakes. This is the comparison of ash left after burning 100 gram of fuel. We took 100 gram of both the fuels and fired them up. The ash left after burning in the case of biofuel it is 10 gram and in the case of cow dung is 20 gram. What is the results by doing all the project? We made a new biofuel that is solid biofuel. That has been proved to be better than cow dung cakes. We compared it with the cow dung cakes and it proved better than that. The biofuel prepared is having higher calorific value as compared to cow dungs. Lesser smoke emission while burning as well, I told you before. No cost fuel. It is very low cost incurred. We only cost 250 rupees for the mold we have made and 950 rupees that we made a biocooker. and no cost is incurred for the biofuel. It caused lesser pollution than the other fuels. What solutions we gave? Viable solution to the solid waste management by converting it to useful biofuels. It helps in reducing pollution also. It can provide employment, especially to people hailing from rural areas. The solid biofuels are very easy to transport. We can transport it from one place to another place very easily. What is the conclusion? From this research work, we could conclude that various kinds of waste solid biomass can be better utilized by transforming it in solid biowaste. It reduces pollution, provide an alternative fuel with no cost incurred very specially, and may also generate employment and skill development. Then future scope. We are planning to make biofuel briquettes by changing the amount of all the raw materials used and to examine the change in calorific value and the other parameters. We are also working on the smoke analysis of it. We will make addition of some other biomass to prepare biofuel so that its calorific value may be increased to the significant level. Thank you very much everyone.
So may I request our second prize winner. Yeah, please come. Amit and Dipanshu. They are from Army Public School. Stick to the time, please. Okay. Just try to finish in 3 minutes.
Hello. So good morning everyone. I'm Dipanshu Sherawat from APSC SAR and I'm with my friend Amit Kumar. So what we have made, we call it Aero Radiant. Our idea is to create a whole new category to control the common appliances, is that our fans and the lights in our houses. So the problem that people have faced and we also have, that we leave our houses in hurry and leave the appliances like fans and lights turned on, and just they consume too much of electricity, exploiting the sustainable development goals. So what we have made this software to that in which a camera is integrated in the switchboard rather than that of the switches and all the fan regulators, in which the camera using AI or computer vision, we can say, will just detect the whole body and the human hand landmarks, so that the person could control the appliances through the hand gestures. Like from the right hand, he could control the speed of the fan, and from the left hand, the person could control the speed, the intensity of the lights of his room. So this is a very efficient way to control the appliances of a room, and people will demand these kind of techniques to just used in their daily lives. So how it is approaching to sustainable development goals. So this system, which will detect the human body presence through AI by detecting the landmarks, it will detect the human in the room, and by using gesture control the appliances. If no one is detected in the room, it will automatically turn off the fans and the lights and other high voltage appliances like ACs to consume to just conserve the power. And if person is in the room, you want to control the appliances, it will use pulse width modulation, which utilizes less current and thus approaching to conserve the electricity here. So people will be just quite feel better to get these kind of system to just control the common appliances by not to wasting time using their hand gesture, and thus it is also saving the electricity around here and approaching to sustainable development goal 11. And thank you so much. Presentation from here.
Okay. So now, may I request our jury member, Dr. C.R. Magesh, who will share his views on today's poster presentation for next 2-3 minutes. So please.
Just a quick question from the Army Public School. You guys have made the software or it's an idea? You have already developed it? Is it there in your system? Sure, we'll see it after the presentation. Okay. Great, I'll see the presentation after. Which sensor are you using?
We are not using any sensor actually. We are just using programmed Python language which operates the camera, and through camera we are coordinating the intensity and working on the instrument electrical.
We'll connect that.
So we'll also think of working about the economics of this.
Yeah.
If it is good enough, I would like to install it, get it installed in Science City.
Yeah, I'll just check. Let
Yeah.
sir say or something.
Yeah.
And then
So,
After
Dr.
the
C.R.
session.
Magesh, yes.
And respected dignitaries in the dais, and my friends, students, teachers, and namaskar everybody. So I'm very happy and privileged to be here. Ma'am has rightly given the opportunity to me. Thank you so much, ma'am. And we spoke about climate change, mitigation, SDGs, and all these things. And presently, we are doing the campaign in air pollution. And the Commission for Air Quality of adjoining areas is under our ministry. It is presently in Connaught Place. In the senior officers meeting, our Honorable Minister Bhupendra Yadav said the air pollution will come down only when the children are aware. So he told me, in the morning assembly, 7 o'clock, you go to the school and address the children. So two things will happen. One is the children will inspire on seeing their scientist. They will fix a goal that I will also become a scientist. Then, so whatever I speak, it will go to their subconscious mind. So, ma'am said about mission life. These are all mission life, SDG, sustainability, everything is in our hand only. So, morning I was given the opportunity to see the posters. I am astonished, sir. Ma'am, I am astonished of this children's creativity, and I am diverted also. One children is saying something, one children is saying something. I am astonished, and we face very difficult to take the decision. And in your age, I am from Kanyakumari district of Tamil Nadu, and a very remote forest area where Western Ghat is there. From there I studied, and one Indian Forest Service officer inspired me, and I am here in front of you as a scientist. So during our period, no scientists, no people come to our school because it is very remote and there is no climate change, nothing happened. We enjoy like anything. So now in Delhi, when I came here, nebulizer has to be put during the pollution period, and wheezing. For me, my kids, we are suffering. My wife want to run away from Delhi. I don't want to run away from Delhi because I told I came from Kanyakumari. I will go with a big thing, a diamond, and go back. I will succeed in my profession, and I will give back my knowledge to the school children, and the children has to be inspired, and they should come up in their life with a lot of things. Yes, then the first prize winner. When I saw this, you see, I am a scientist. I also see things why, what, when, how. why it cannot be like that, why it cannot be like this. So they did a wonderful work. In Hindon Air Force campus, there are a lot of Parthenium. I'm going to tell this Kendra Vidyalaya to take up this work. Okay, then this Army Public School. Sir, when I went there, the boys very eager to show that the app. Then they nicely made. When you will see, you will also inspire. I congratulate the boys, two boys from the Army Public School. I greeted them Jai Hind and told them, tell your project. So congratulations for them also. The third prize winner, who is the third prize winner? Oh, they are here. They also did very nicely. I appreciate all the winners. The people, the students who was not selected, don't feel bad. The next time is yours. Today is mine, tomorrow is yours. You should take in positive way. So ma'am from the DBT gave a very inspiring talk. I also inspired on her talk. Thank you so much, ma'am. I will tell my daughter also to see the Inspire portal. She is also in 9th standard. Thank you so much, and congratulations for all the children.
Thank you so much, sir. And now the house is open for questions. If you have any questions, our dignitaries will be more than happy to answer. So please, if you have any questions, you can ask one by one. Students, if you have any questions, please let us know, and one by one you can ask. I think they have understood everything, whatever was discussed here. And the presentation Tandon sir gave was really wonderful, and the way he interacted with the students in itself, they had some questions. I think they that were answered at that time only, so that's why. Anyhow, we have moving further. We are going to show you a small film on mission life. Please have a look. Can yeah. After that, we have the prize distribution. So. Sound. There's no sound. By the time the team is checking the checking sound, is it okay now? By the time they are checking sound, let's proceed for the prize distribution ceremony. Before I announce, by the time they are checking sound, we may proceed for the prize distribution ceremony, and afterwards we can watch the film. So before I before I announce the names of the prize winners, may I request the dignitaries to come on the front. Come at the front, yes, for the prize distribution. So it's a request to all the winners to come one by one to collect the award. I would like to announce the names of Appreciation Award winners. Gauri Batra, KVSPG, Dwarka, for Intelligent Deutobic Dustbin. KVSPG, Dwarka, for Intelligent Dustbin. Yeah, prize money rupees 1,000. It's a request to the winners to collect the prize from Mr. Vishal. He's standing on my right. And to receive and get the receipt signed. Second appreciation award goes to Vidit Ashwini, Arav Tanwar from Springdale School for the project title Solution to Pollution. Solution to Pollution, prize money rupees 1,000. Third prize, Gurshan Singh, Shubham Arora, the Oxford School of Education, Bathinda, Punjab, for the project Poster Carbon Dioxide Absorber. Second prize, Amit Kumar, Dipanshu Sarawat from Army Public School for the poster and project title Aero Radiant. First prize goes to Harmandeep Kaur from Government Senior Secondary School, Jabowal, Amritsar, Punjab for cost-effective biocooker. Ji, sure. Oxford. Okay. May I request the dignitaries to be on stage only for the Oxford School mentor and the students, they want to get themselves clicked with you guys. So please. Congratulations to all the winners. And now may I request Dr. C.R. Magesh to receive the award, please. Memento we are giving. Dr. C.R. Magesh, is he here? He's not here, ma'am. Anyhow, may I now request Mr. Shubham Tandon to receive the token of regard from our side. Now I request Dr. Jared to honor our chief guest. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for sparing your valuable time. Thank you, everyone. Is the film ready now? Ready? Film? No? Okay. Anyhow. So now it's time to propose formal vote of thanks. It's an honor and privilege for me to propose vote of thanks. I extend my heartiest thanks to Honorable Chief Guest Mrs. Namita Gupta for sparing precious time from her busy schedule to grace this occasion. Madam, I'm sure that our audience are immensely benefited by your words of wisdom. I wish to place on record my sincere thanks to our expert, Mr. Shubham Tandon, for enlightening our minds with such a thoughtful presentation, such an insightful presentation. I extend my gratitude to our jury members for sparing valuable time to judge the competition. I extend my special thanks to Dr. Jareth, DG Science City, for her continuous guidance and motivation. Madam, we are fortunate enough to have you. Your precise vision, dynamic leadership, and unstinted support was indeed an effective tool for all of us to make this event a success. Last but not the least, I extend my heartiest thanks to all the participants and their teacher mentors who have come from far and wide to participate in today's session and have worked hard to showcase their talent and innovation. Thank you, everyone, for making this program a success. Thank you. And lunch is
Well-
at the same venue. Yeah, ma'am wants to say something.
I would कुछ problem. And all the other partners of this international conference, also for the infrastructure which has been provided to us. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Participation certificates for the students and the appreciation certificates for teachers are available here only. They can collect the certificate. Lunch is waiting for them at the same venue where they got their breakfast. So thank you, everyone. Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
मिशन लाइफ का मंत्र है लाइफस्टाइल और एनवायरमेंट। पृथ्वी पर रहने वाले प्रत्येक व्यक्ति व्यक्तिगत प्रयासों की कामना के साथ ही आज ये मिशन लाइफ का ये विजन दुनिया के सामने रखा है।
My dear Prakriti, remember what you have to do on Earth?
Yes, Mother. I will educate people with love so that they understand mission life and maintain the environmental balance by adopting environment-friendly lifestyle.
My child, these three things will help you on your journey. First is the tiara of flowers. This will keep you happy and energetic.